Hi, good morning all. Welcome to Diademy IAS. In this session, in this video, we are going to discuss about 2024, the last Civil Service Mains English Literature Optional PYQ analysis based on mainly we are focusing poems in this video, and let's discuss about how UPSC asked the question from poem section paper 2. In the last video, we discussed about the paper 1 analysis. And comparatively, we can say that the number of poems, the large number of poems we can see in this paper 2 section, mainly 40 poems in paper 2 section. And in this video, we can discuss about how the question asked in the 2024 UPSC Mains English Literature optional paper. So here we have section A, and in the section A, normally the questions asked relating with poem, and normally the question, that means UPSC gives the lines, and based on that the question was critically comment about 150 words on each the following. So this line we can see it was a poem by W.B. Yeats, and the poem Second Coming. And we have nearly 10 poems from W.B. Yeats in section A, that means paper 2 in UPSC English Literature optional syllabus. And here we can say that the writing of W.B. Yeats, we can generalize say that means in generally his poems mainly focused on, that means we have Easter 1916, the Second Coming, the Prayer for My Daughter, then Leda and Swan, then Meru. The different poems are there in syllabus, and generally we can say that the poem, if we take the list of poems in syllabus, we can easily understand that the poem mainly discussed about some revolutionary tone, at the same time spiritual aspect. So this is a common theme we can easily understand regarding with the poem by W.B. Yeats, specifically given in the syllabus. So here we can see the somewhere in sands of desert shaped with lion body and the heart of man and blank, this is what the core of this poem we can easily understand. So in order to but in general, when we assess the previous question papers in the previous years as well, UPSC gives this title of this line and the writer name only, the author's name only. So it's not easy to identify the poem. So in order to understand easily the title or the theme of the poem, the only thing is that we have to read the poem line by line with crystal clarity. So that's the only way of preparation we have to follow. And here this poem, we can say that this poem, the poet explained about both the revolutionary aspect, that means the Ireland, and at the same time the First World War impact and all these are depicted in this poem. So these are the important concepts you have to give in order to explain this poem, and this is a 10 marker question. And the next question was from T.S. Eliot. That means T.S. Eliot, the poem is Journey of Magi. And this poem, we can say that this poem mainly discussed on different context, that means paradoxical nature of birth, and tension between joy and associated with both birth and death. All these are the important points discussed in this poem. And this poem also specifically explained about the birth of Christ, and which represents the spiritual aspect and all. And the next poem was from W.H. Auden. That was the poem, W.H. Auden. That is the poem by T.S. Eliot, and the first section, the section B, and the next one, W.H. Auden work. That was a question. And next one, Philip Larkin, Next Please. That was a poem. And that is actually, this poem also discussed about the mortality and all these, the important theme there. And the next poem was by A.K. Ramanujan. And we have a list of poems in UPSC syllabus from A.K. Ramanujan, the one and only Indian writer we have. That means the syllabus in UPSC English Literature optional syllabus part. And here this question, under the bridges with patches, the reply of this is a line from the poem River. Okay, and how we have to approach these type of questions. Mainly, I already said the line by line analysis, and you have to read the line by line analysis of the poem, and based on that analyze the theme. That means which are the symbolical representation, symbolisms used in that particular poem, and what are the analysis of that poem. So based on that we have to approach. So here this poem, that A.K. Ramanujan's poem, then the wet stones of glistering to the sleepy crocodiles, the dry ones, shaven water, buffaloes. So all these. So here we can say that this is a symbolic and spiritual significance of river. Symbolic and spiritual representation of rivers, right? So all these the important keywords we have to use in order to write this poem. That means, the metaphysical, actually some sort of a physical and metaphysical meaning there. The poet gives in this poem, and also the river, that means the flow of time, mortality, and all these are the important theme in this poem. The next one, bring out the dichotomy between the body and soul presented by W.B. Yeats. So we have already discussed W.B. Yeats' second coming. That was the beginning part of this question paper. And again the W.B. Yeats question, the question from W.B. Yeats' poem again asked in 2024 poem section. That is, bring out the dichotomy between body and soul, presented in W.B. Yeats' poem Sailing to Byzantium and Byzantium. And actually, the relevance of art, spirituality, then immortality, all these are the common theme we can see in some poems in syllabus. That means mainly from the poems regarding with Meru and Leda and Swan also there, because there is some sort of a spiritual divine aspect there. And Byzantium and Sailing to Byzantium, these two poems are the prominent one. That means the poets in the elderly people in Ireland, and specifically the reference of the poet, he is searching a spiritual world beyond the material existence. So that's mentioned in this question, and we have to give a comparative analysis of this Byzantium and Sailing to Byzantium, the two important poems. So mainly based on that we can give moral aspects and mortal body, and body versus vessel. Actually, this poem mainly depicts that the human body is, there is a surety of decay, and the poet praised the art and its spiritual ending, and all these are the main theme. Then the next question was from T.S. Eliot. Exploit the potential myth and history, then comment on the contemporary society. So that was the another section of question in this paper 2 of UPSC 2024 exam. So actually T.S. Eliot works, we can say that normally was based on human existence, culture, nature of time, and we have the three poems in syllabus, and based on that the question is, prescribed poems prescribed in the syllabus. That was the question. So this is a normal method UPSC follows. That means we have to analyze the entire poems based on the line by line analysis, and based on that we can give a clear cut answer. Then next question was, illustrate the distinctive feature of colonialism and post-colonialism. So here it is a movement part in paper 2, and colonialism and post-colonialism, mainly colonialism and post-colonialism we can classify like this. Colonialism was mainly, economic exploitations, then political control, cultural domination, racism, hierarchy, and all these are the different important points, keywords we can elaborate in this section. And the next part of the question was post-colonialism. The post-colonialism, we can say that, decolonization, then cultural identity there, economic and social changes, then hybridity of culture and fusion. All these are the important keywords we can elaborate. And first we can give these points, and after that we can give a mixture of the interpretation. So that is the strategy we have to use to answer this section. And the next answer was W.H. de Auden's question again, and Philip Larkin's portrayal. Then the another section of this UPSC question we can see, bring out the elements of Indian sensibility reflected in A.K. Ramanujan's work. Again, a second question asked, A.K. Ramanujan's work. That means A.K. Ramanujan's work, we can say that the trans-sectional analysis of the tradition and modernity, and family, identity, social nature, then translation of cultural identity, spirituality, all these are the common theme we can give as a keyword. And next one, the depiction of woman and marriage in Osborne's play Look Back in Anger. And the next question was, illustrate the characteristic features of absurd theatre. Mainly, the absurd theatre is the moment part, and it is connected with the work Waiting for Godot. So these are the important questions asked from the drama, at the same time the poem section in paper 2. So here we already discussed about the pattern UPSC follows in the recent years. And generally we can say that we have to approach the literary work in a critical way, and we have to give some interpretations. But when we prepare this topic, when we prepare the syllabus, first we have to go through the core of that particular work, whenever specifically regarding with the poem, and based on that we have to give the clear-cut interpretation. Okay, when we take the work, specifically when we take W.B. Yeats' work, and which are the common elements or which are the common theme we can easily understand from that particular work or particular writer. So that strategy we have to follow in order to make the notes and the revision points. So in order to make the revision of your already prepared notes, you have to adopt this strategy. That means some keywords, make some keywords, and based on that prepare the core text again and read the text again and again. So that is the strategy we have to follow in English literature optional preparation, and it will be more useful whenever we sit in the mains examination hall. We can easily connect that keywords, and we can easily it will be useful for when we read the question, because like this poem section. Okay, this is about the poem section of 2024, the last year UPSC optional paper. and we will discuss the novel section in the next video. Thank you. Thank you so much.